Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Keesley.
And I'm Kendra Cook. The Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest TV Translator Association.
If you have a news topic or tips you'd like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 677-4119.
Today's show runs Monday at noon and is rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. and again re-aired on Thursday at noon, 3 and 6. Today is January 8th, 2017. And now the news at noon.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, a driver who died last month after causing a three-vehicle crash just west of Pagosa Springs tested nearly double the legal driving limit for THC, the psychoactive ingredient in marijuana, authorities said Thursday. Around 10:30 a.m. December 14th, Loveland resident Neil Carroll, age 27, lost control of a 2006 Dodge Ram 2500 and crossed the center line while headed west on U.S. Highway 160 near mile marker 137. Mile marker 137 is about 7 miles west of Pagosa Springs. Carroll hit an oncoming 2004 Toyota RAV4 driven by Leslie Cron, age 69, of Pagosa Springs. Carroll's vehicle then spun and collided with another oncoming vehicle, a 2008 Ford F-250 driven by 57-year-old Kelly Lewis. Carroll died as a result of his injuries. His two passengers, Taylor Estrada, age 24, of Arvada, and one-year-old boy, were taken to Pagosa Springs Medical Center and later airlifted to a Denver hospital. Cron and Lewis were also taken to Pagosa Springs Medical Center with serious injuries. At the time of the crash, authorities did not believe drugs or alcohol were a factor because no physical evidence of illegal substances was found at the crash site. But a toxicology test found Carroll tested above the presumptive limit for THC levels while driving in the state of Colorado. While the limit is considered 5 nanograms per milliliter of blood, Carroll tested at 9.2 nanograms per milliliter, said Colorado State Patrol Captain Adrian Driscoll. Authorities now believe Carroll's use of marijuana is the most apparent human contributing factor in the crash, according to an incident report. While road conditions were icy and dangerous, Driscoll said Carroll exceeded a safe speed limit, which is different than speeding. Carroll was traveling 60 miles per hour in a 65 mile per hour zone in inclement conditions.
An update on the Hay Camp death from the Journal. The body of a man believed to have been murdered was found last Thursday morning in the Hay Camp Mesa area of the San Juan National Forest, that according to Montezuma County Sheriff Steve Nowlin. The victim was identified Friday as James Box Jr., age 42, of Ignacio, Nowlin said. He had been fatally shot by a handgun. Box is a member of the Southern Ute tribe. A suspect, Kevin Wade Folsom, age 39, was arrested on a charge of second-degree murder, Nowlin said. Folsom is from Montezuma County. The crime occurred late Tuesday or early Wednesday off Forest Road 557, which is a spur of the Forest Road 556 known as the Hay Camp Road. Nowlin said a citizen who had heard about the incident contacted him about 5 p.m. Wednesday. Deputies went to the area of the shooting and conducted a 3-hour search for the victim. We found him about 1:30 a.m., Nowlin said. It is still an active investigation. Folsom was arrested about 9:30 p.m. on Wednesday after being pulled over near the corner of Colorado Highway 145 and County Road M. His truck was impounded. Folsom and the victim, plus an unidentified person, had driven together to Hay Camp Mesa and were partying in an area off Indian Ridge Road, Nowlin said. He said drugs were involved and that Folsom has a criminal history. In court last Thursday, District Court Judge Douglas Walker issued a $500,000 bond and issued a protection order. Walker denied a gag order request from the Folsom's public defender, Justin Bogan. District Attorney Will First had requested a $1 million bond, citing Folsom's criminal history. Prior charges listed by First spanned from 1997 to 2008 and included escape, burglary, parole violation, possession of a weapon by a felon, aggravated robbery, vehicular eluding, assault, menacing, and theft. First said the investigation is ongoing and that according to sheriff reports, it appeared that there was an attempt to conceal evidence at the scene because snow was moved and there were indications of a shovel. Walker attributed the high bond to the severity of the second-degree murder allegation and the suspect's record. Folsom's next court appearance is scheduled for February 18th at 1:30 p.m. for filing of charges.
According to the Cortez Journal, 2 Utah men were severely injured in a single vehicle crash on County Road G Wednesday night. Cortez Fire Chief Jeff Vandervoort said emergency responders were called to the 11,000 block of the road about 6:30 p.m. A single vehicle with 2 occupants had apparently driven off the road and hit a large tree. The driver was airlifted to a Farmington hospital by helicopter, and the passenger was transported to Southwest Memorial Hospital. Fire and rescue personnel from Cortez responded to the crash along with Colorado State Patrol troopers, Vandervoort said. A Montezuma County Sheriff's Office deputy provided traffic control during the investigation. When emergency vehicles arrived, he said one of the car's occupants was lying against the tree and the other was hanging out of the car. Neither appeared to have been wearing seatbelts, he said, and both suffered head trauma and other injuries. The State Patrol investigation is ongoing, but Vandervoort said preliminary signs pointed to alcohol and speed as the main factors in the crash. He would not release the names of the people involved, but said both men were from Utah and appeared to be on their way home. Captain Adrian Driscoll of Colorado State Patrol Trooper 5A said charges are pending against the driver.
How high will gas prices go in 2018? A report in the Durango Herald states experts say consumers are likely to pay more for gasoline in the upcoming year, but market forces are in place moderating those increases and make it unlikely there will be a repeat of huge spikes at the pump like those that punished consumers in 2014. Skylar McKinley, spokesperson for AAA Colorado in Denver, said, "I would be shocked if we saw greatly increased prices in gasoline in 2018. We're in a very good place for gas right now." Last Wednesday, GasBuddy, a provider of crowdsourced information to help people find the cheapest gas prices, predicted the average price of gasoline for the year will rise 19 cents. In 2017, the average price was $2.57 per gallon, the highest average price since 2014, according to GasBuddy's 2018 fuel price outlook. While several variables affect the price of gasoline, Patrick DeHaan, head of petroleum analysis at GasBuddy, said OPEC cuts in oil production mean oil inventories will begin 2018 about 50 million barrels lower than a year ago. However, McKinley said a major factor that should moderate gasoline prices this year is increased fracking activity in North American oil fields. McKinley said once oil costs are about $55 a barrel, North American producers begin returning dormant fracked wells into production, and the increase in fracked oil prices increases caused by OPEC cuts. If enough fracked oil is produced, the price of crude oil could fall and translate into lower gasoline prices. Timing has a lot to do with it also. Gas prices always increase during the holidays, and we're experiencing a stronger economy and people are more inclined to travel. But I think during the next month, as you move away from the holidays, you'll begin to see gasoline prices going down, he said. Gas prices for January are about 50 cents per gallon cheaper than their peak January price in 2014, McKinley said. According to GasBuddy, the average household will see its yearly gasoline bill rise to $1,898, up from $1,765 in 2017. Compared with 2016, drivers will shell out $62 billion more during the year. GasBuddy's forecast does not expect record-breaking prices this year, and most of the country will see prices peak under $3 a gallon. But unexpected disruptions could push the national average close to that $3 mark. DeHaan noted that several factors, including the strength of the economy, fuel taxes, weather, and global conflicts, all play roles in setting the final gas prices consumers see at the pump. According to AAA, the average price in Montezuma County for regular unleaded gasoline was $2.54 on Sunday. Locally here in Dove Creek, the stations are at $2.65. In Denver, it was $2.34, and across Colorado, it was $2.41. The highest price in Colorado on Sunday, as reported by AAA, was $2.95, and that was in Vail. McKinley said the prices are pretty typical of supply chain differences and differences in populated markets versus rural markets. In general, he said consumers can expect to pay between 10 to 20 cents more per gallon than in Denver.
According to the Cortez Journal, 2 juveniles playing with a lighter started last week's wildfire that burned 3 acres in the Durango West 1 subdivision, about 8 miles west of Durango city limits, authorities said Thursday. Firefighters were called to Woodcrest Drive about 12:30 p.m. December 29th for a report of smoke in the area. They initially used informal 2-track mountain biking trails adjacent to the subdivision to build fire lines on the north side of the fire to separate the blaze from the subdivision. Deputies with the La Plata County Sheriff's Office helped prepare residents for evacuation, but evacuation was never required after the fire moved south away from the subdivision. Carola Hanks, fire marshal with Durango Fire Protection District, declined to say what punishment the children will face, if any. She said the fire district offers an educational program for children displaying fire-setting behavior. We have had many instances with children whose parents have brought them to us, she said. The fire district will work with kids in an educational manner to help prevent this type of activity in the future. And now let's take a look at the weather.
The national forecast shows quite a bit of turbulence this week, starting with the West Coast rains and the Intermountain and Northern Rockies finally getting some snowfall. After the dry spell and fires in the west, the possibility for mudslides will once again present itself in California. The high pressure ahead of that system is holding the middle of the country dry for now, from Texas all the way up to North Dakota. There's still snow impacting the eastern Great Lakes and New England, while a mix of rain and ice storms is the challenge covering the extent of the southeast and up through the mid-Atlantic. Icy travel is providing dangerous road surfaces. If you don't have to travel there, simply stay home. We're certainly in winter now. Thankfully, many of those extreme low temperatures last week have moved off for the moment, but more frigid air is on tap for Wednesday this week, and for our part of the country, you can expect more winds as well. Regionally, we have both a hazardous weather warning and a special weather statement in effect. The warning shows light snow is expected to develop over the mountains tonight, spreading from southwest to northeast across the area as the night progresses. Accumulations will be light at pass levels with only 1 to 3 inches expected by sunrise on Tuesday. Then light snow will continue over the mountains Tuesday, with the next chance for significant snowfall from Tuesday evening into Wednesday night. Initial snowfall output suggests possible warning level snowfall for most mountain areas. However, they are not confident of that forecast. The special statement says a strong winter storm will work through the southern Great Basin on Tuesday and progress into the Four Corners region by Tuesday night, continuing into Wednesday. An abundance of moisture wrapped around this system will spread into eastern Utah and western Colorado and bring the potential for significant snowfall to most mountain areas. Exact snowfall amounts remain in question, but there is the potential for new accumulations of 8 to 14 inches for the mountains, with amounts close to 2 feet possible across the higher southern mountain peaks. Higher valley snowfall may vary between 1 and 4 inches, and the greatest accumulations are expected Tuesday night through Wednesday morning. Again, there is still some uncertainty with the storm, namely with regard to the exact track and mild nature of the system. If the storm progresses further south into Arizona and New Mexico, projected snowfall totals will, of course, decrease. So don't get too excited about making full-size snowmen just yet. The local DCTV 5-day outlook shows today increasing clouds with a high near 51, southeast winds 5 to 10, becoming south-southwest in the morning. Tonight, a chance of rain and snow before 1 a.m., and then a chance of rain mostly cloudy with a low around 36 degrees. South winds will be around 10 miles an hour, and the chance of precipitation is hovering at 40%. Tuesday, a 40% chance of showers continues, mostly cloudy with a high near 50 degrees. South-southeast winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Tuesday night, the showers are likely mainly after 11 p.m. It'll be cloudy with a low around 33 degrees, south winds around 10 miles an hour. Chance of precipitation that night is 60%. And Wednesday, rain and snow showers are likely before 11 a.m. Then a chance of rain showers become prevalent at 11 to 1 p.m. in the middle of the day. Then a chance of snow showers after 1 p.m. Mostly cloudy with a high near 43. South-southwest winds 10 to 15 miles an hour, becoming northwest in the afternoon. Chance of precipitation Wednesday is also 60%. Wednesday night, a 30% chance of snow showers happens before 11 p.m. as the temperatures drop, partly cloudy with a low down to 25 degrees. Then Thursday, that system clears out and it'll be sunny with a high near 43. Thursday night, mostly clear with a low around 24. Friday, sunny with a high near 48. Friday night, mostly clear with a low around 24 degrees. And Saturday, sunny with a high near 47. Saturday night, mostly clear with a low around 24. And now, back to the news.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, a house fire on County Road 32 in Mancos is still under investigation. According to Sean Biddle, Assistant Fire Chief of the Cortez Fire Protection District, the point of origin was the kitchen, but most of the fire was extinguished by the time crews arrived. The homeowner returned from taking her dog on a walk, opened the door, and was hit with smoke. She immediately closed the door and called 911. One thing that saved her house is that when she closed the door and kept the oxygen from feeding the fire, it was such an airtight structure that the fire ran out of oxygen and extinguished itself. The Cortez, Mancos, and Dolores fire departments responded to the scene. Crews entered and found heavy fire damage throughout the kitchen and heat and smoke damage throughout the house. We basically pulled in, and after the fire is knocked down, we have to do what we call overhaul and make sure there is no hidden fire there, Biddle said. No one was injured in the fire.
From the Journal, if you were sick over the holidays, you were not alone. Flu season is hitting hard in Colorado. 3 to 4 times more people have been hospitalized than usual, and the trend isn't slowing down, said state epidemiologist Dr. Rachel Herlihy of Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. We don't have any indication that our influenza season has peaked yet, she said. As of the end of December, 1,203 people had been hospitalized, according to the state health department. 6 had been hospitalized in Montezuma County and 1 person in La Plata County. The flu season typically lasts until May, and trends can vary with waves of different forms of the flu, Herlihy said. Across Colorado, there have been far more cases of influenza A, specifically a strain called H3N2. That particular type of influenza causes more illnesses in the elderly, and because of that, we see more severe illnesses, more hospitalizations, and oftentimes more deaths as well, Herlihy said of H3N2. She encouraged older adults to seek care if they are experiencing flu symptoms because there are antiviral medications that can prevent severe illness. In addition to typical symptoms like a fever, sore throat, and cough, some older adults may see underlying health conditions worsen as a result of the flu. While seniors may not see fevers as high as others, breathing conditions, heart conditions, and confusion could all worsen as a result of the flu. The vaccine this year had been predicted at being just 10% effective. Adjustments to that data may be forthcoming. However, the best medicine is prevention. They suggest that keep your immune system strengthened and wash your hands often.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, 3 horses owned by La Plata County rancher Ed Zink were killed earlier this week after being hit on U.S. Highway 550 in the Animas Valley, several miles north of Durango. Zink said he has checked all his fences and gates, but fences were in good condition and gates were closed. We found nothing definitive to explain why the horses would be on the highway, he said. Zink said he would not speculate if someone might have let the horses out. He said 10 horses were on the parcel from which the horses escaped. 2 horses were dark-colored and 1 was light-colored, he said. When people are driving at night, the main thing I'd say is slow down. The speed limit is 55, but I don't drive 55 at night, he said. People need to be more careful. Deer and elk are a constant problem, and livestock can happen too.
From the Durango Herald, Rocky Mountain's snowpack that feeds Colorado River water supplies was 20% below average in December in some areas, prompting a prediction that the key water source for 7 U.S. states could flow at 54% of its average volume during the April to July snowpack runoff period. The Las Vegas Review-Journal reported last Wednesday that the conditions issued by the National Weather Service's Colorado Basin River Forecast Center could improve if more snow falls, but that winter precipitation so far has been far below normal. The river is a critical water source for Arizona, California, Colorado, Nevada, New Mexico, Utah, and Wyoming. Lake Mead's surface has dropped more than 130 feet since drought descended on the Colorado in the year 2000. But the lake that sits upstream from Hoover Dam east of Las Vegas ended 2017 almost 2 feet higher than a year ago, as use of Colorado River water by Nevada, Arizona, and California hit its lowest level since 1992. According to preliminary accounting figures from the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation, those 3 states consumed a combined 6.7 million acre-feet from the river last year, driven by wet conditions in California and widening efforts to curb use in Arizona. That left enough water in Lake Mead to keep it more than 7 feet above the trigger point for a federal shortage declaration, which would mean mandatory cuts for river users in Nevada and Arizona. The federal projections released last month called for Lake Mead to finish 2018 roughly 4 feet lower than it is now, but still safely out of shortage territory. In light of Wednesday's river forecast, the projections for the lake are almost certain to get worse. California was able to cut its river use by more than 440,000 acre-feet last year, in large part because of huge snow accumulations in the Sierra Nevada that helped refill the state's drought-depleted reservoirs and above-average precipitation elsewhere that reduced water demand. Arizona cut its river use by almost 360,000 acre-feet, mostly to stave off more substantial mandatory cuts in the future. Bronson Mack, a spokesman for the Southern Nevada Water Authority, said water use went up slightly last year because of increased economic activity and the addition of more water customers. Hotter, drier weather also might have played a part, he said. 1 acre-foot of water is enough to supply 2 average households for a little more than a year. Most of Nevada's river water goes to supply about 90% of the water consumed by the Las Vegas Valley's 2 million residents and 40 million annual visitors.
This story is from the Dove Creek Press. Monday is the deadline to affiliate for Coloradans who want to participate in the Republican or Democrat precinct caucuses. Voters must be affiliated to participate. Caucuses, which are basically neighborhood meetings, are the first step in nominating candidates for the 2018 election. Both parties will caucus on March 6th. At the caucuses, delegates that will attend the county, legislative, congressional districts, and state assemblies will be chosen. This is really a crucial step in our democratic process, Colorado Secretary of State Wayne Williams said. At some assemblies, candidates don't get enough support from delegates to get on the ballot, and their quest for office is over. In counties with lopsided voter registration, such as heavily Democratic Denver County or heavily Republican El Paso County, a group of delegates choose a single primary candidate who likely will be the winner in the general election. The caucus route is one way for candidates to get on the Republican and Democratic ballots for the June 26th primary. In past years, more than 90% of candidates on the primary ballot were chosen through the caucus route. A small minority choose instead to petition their way onto the ballot by collecting a certain number of valid voter signatures from members of their own party. To register to vote or change registration information online, go to govotecolorado.com or text CO to vote. Coloradans also can register or change registration information by appearing in person at their county clerk's offices. Although unaffiliated voters may now participate in the primary election without declaring to be a Republican or Democrat, they cannot participate in caucuses unless they register with the party 60 days in advance. Information on where to caucus will be available on Republican and Democratic Party websites.
Today's High Canyon Country Happenings. January 11th, the Cortez Public Library and the Sunflower Theater present, quote, The Age of Consequences. It's at 7 p.m. The film, quote, investigates the impacts of climate change on increased resource scarcity, migration, and conflict through the lens of U.S. national security and global stability. Through unflinching case study analysis, distinguished admirals, generals, and military veterans take us beyond the headlines of the conflict in Syria, the social unrest of the Arab Spring, the rise of radicalized groups like ISIS, and the European refugee crisis, and lay bare how climate change stressors interact with societal tensions, sparking conflict. It's a $5 donation requested at the door. A collaborative event in Cortez between the Wild Edge Brewing Collective with Moose and More will be called a Stout Float Night for adults. It's Wednesday from 6 to 9 p.m. at Wild Edge Brewing. And this evening, January 8th, is the first day of the Pioneer Center in Dove Creek that will be open for their senior services dinner at 6 p.m. It's a $3 donation for those 60 and over, a suggested $9 for those younger. They would like you to RSVP to their new number. It's 970-677-2787. And also note that it will be a bingo night as well. Come on out and take a look at the brand new facility. It's for the entire community. The new address is 8540 County Road 7.2. And all of the happenings are posted on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the YouTube replays, weather, and original stories and local posts. To share your event or information, contact us. The email is dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station 970-677-4119, and we'll be sure to get your news on air.
Thanks for tuning in. News at Noon airs at noon Monday through Wednesday and then is rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. and again re-aired Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the same order at noon, 3, and 6.
And be sure to check us out on Facebook. It's DCTV News at Noon. Please like us there and share it with a friend.
For Kendra Cook with DCTV and the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.